All right, guys, we're gonna go over how to use this jack. First of all, there's an up and down button right here, and then the one next to that is actually a light. So if you're docking at night and you want a light on, so it makes backing up a little bit easier, okay? Your propane tanks are located right here. To access them, you're just gonna lift off the propane, this right here, the plastic over the propane. There's an arrow in there that points towards one tank or the other. So whichever tank you're gonna use, you're gonna open up that valve, make sure that arrow is pointed towards that valve. If that tank runs out, you'll turn it off, open the other tank, flip that arrow over so it's pointing towards the new tank, and then you should be good to go. A couple things, located behind the tanks here is your battery and your battery disconnect switch. You shouldn't need to worry about those at all, but they're just for your information, they're back there in case you did need to access them for some reason. As we come around, there's a large storage area right here. This is where you're gonna find all your gear, like your water hose, your sewer hose, all that kind of stuff. It's a large pass-through, so just if you need to put some camping gear in there and all that, it's gonna hold that as well. Every corner has a stabilizer jack, and they're electric, and to access them, there's an extend button right here and a retract button. They're gonna come down. When you hit the extend, they're gonna come down. A lot of times, one will come down first, hit the ground, and then the second one will start to come down. These jacks are not for leveling the RV. All they do is come down and touch the ground and make the RV more stable, so when you're walking around inside, it doesn't wobble on you or anything. So they just come down, they touch the ground, and then they'll stop, okay? Same thing on the back, there's a set of two. Just remember, before you leave your campsite, you wanna make sure you raise both of them up, because one might come up and you might think, oh, they're up, but the other one's still down. So always double check, make sure they both come up and are up completely off the ground. That way, if you drive away, they're not dragging or anything like that. If you drag or bend one, they're very expensive to replace, and you don't want that bill. Nobody wants to pay for that. As we come around, we do have a large awning here. It's an electric awning, so inside the RV, there's a button. It's gonna extend it and retract it. It is not auto retracting, meaning like if it's windy or something, it'll automatically close. So if it's windy, rainy, stormy, anything like that at all, you wanna make sure you close this awning up, okay? They cost $1,900 to replace. It can get really expensive, so you don't want to break one of these. They sell it in a kit. If you break one arm, it's still $1,900. If you break both arms, you know, it just gets pricey. So just make sure you're very careful with the awnings. Keep them retracted. We recommend, if you're not literally sitting underneath it, keep it closed. You don't want to go to bed with it out or something like that. So just double check that. This right here is for easy access inside the RV. It's kind of like a guide rail for you. To access the stairs, all you're gonna do is pull this out just like this, and then this one actually flips down one more time, and then this will be your handrail to get in the RV, okay? To close it up, just reverse the process. You're gonna flip this one, swing it over just like this. This is another thing, before you leave the campground, make sure that this is completely up out of the way. You don't want to drive off and then bend the stairs or something because you caught it on a rock or something. Make sure it's completely up out of the way. There are a couple electrical outlets. Just remember, any major appliance is going to need the generator running to use. That's going to be your air conditioner, your microwave, even your outlets are going to use a generator to power those outlets. Lastly, on this side right here, this is your other stabilizer button for the rear stabilizer jacks. They'll come down. Remember, one at a time. Make sure you get them back up. Now we're gonna come back and talk about the back hatch, okay? So on the hatch here, to access the entry point, you're just gonna push your thumb in here, lift this lever up, swing it completely out of the way. Same thing on the other side. There's a large hinge here, spring-loaded, so it'll help you lower the ramp and raise the ramp. Just make sure if you're doing the ramp here, there's a metal edge up there. Don't park on like unlevel rocks and then drive your side-by-side out or something. You're gonna bend or break the metal up there. So you want to park it on a flat surface area, have the ramp come down, drive in on a flat surface, and then once you're done, you can close it up. To close this, make sure before you lift up the back door that this guy is out of the way. Same thing on that side, because you don't want to have it open and this is closed and you crush it. So you just want to make sure this is out of the way, close the door. You're going to then swing this over, lift up the latch, drop it in, and then you can lock it up and you're good to go. As we come around on the other side, you're gonna have a couple things here. There's a fueling station on this guy. It holds a lot of fuel, okay? It holds about 30 gallons. We just recommend you use this for running the generator. A lot of guys will have their own fuel for their side-by-sides and stuff like that, raise fuel, that kind of stuff. So we recommend just for a weekend about 10 gallons. It holds over 30 gallons of fuel. So if you're just going for a little weekend, you probably don't need to fill it all the way up. To fill it, you would use this fueling area here. Just a pro tip that we have. Stand to the side when you fill it up. Sometimes we've had it on these guys, when you try to fill it and it's coming out so fast that it squirts back out at you, and if you're standing in front of it, you might get fuel on you, so we've learned to kind of just fill it from the side. As we come back around here, exhaust vent for the heater, water heater, so just make sure that, I'm sorry, for the heater, and then that's the water heater. This can get extremely hot, so just make sure you don't lean any gear against this or anything like that at all. You do have some connections up here. This is for winterizing. You don't need to worry about that here. And then you have your city water connect and your fresh water connect. The city water connect is if you're gonna plug in and use the water at the RV park you're staying at or something like that. We actually recommend you do not do that. We recommend you fill up the water tank with this one right here, and then just use the water pump inside the RV anytime you need water. The reason why is even with a pressure regulator, we found that you can blow out lines or the lines leak in a lot of RVs. So what you don't want to do is hook into the city water, go hiking for the day, and you got a leak and you come back and the trailer's flooded. So anytime, if you are going to use the city water connect or plug in at the park, anytime you're going to use that water, walk outside, turn on the spigot. When you're done using it, go back outside, turn off the spigot. For us, it's just easier to fill the tank, hit the on-off switch inside for the water pump, and you're good to go. It's the right pressure every time, okay? If you are going to go hiking or leave the trailer for any time, make sure all water is shut off and all water pumps are shut off. That way you don't come back and you come back and then you had a leak and then the trailer's flooded with water. So just be careful of that. Same thing when you go to bed at night, make sure all the pumps are turned off and all that. Right here is your power connect. This is for your shore power. This is what's going to plug in at the park. Now we have learned that if you do have a problem after plugging in at a park, 95% of the time it's the park power that's not working. There's a breaker box. Make sure the breaker is turned on so that the power at the pedestal you're using is running and on. 95% of the time, if the power is not working, it's going to be some issue with the park power that you're using. So just be aware of that. Right here's your dump station. There's two valves. There's a black valve and a gray valve. So how you do this is you're going to have your sewer hose. You're going to hook it on right here where the cap is, and then you'll pull the black valve out. That's going to drain the black water, the sewage. There's also right here a flush for the sewer. You're going to hook in water, and with that valve open, you can actually run water through this and clean out the black water tank. Okay, just make sure that you do not run water through this unless the black valve is open. When you're done, turn off the water, continue to let it drain. Once it's all drained out, you'll close the black valve. Then you'll come over here and there's a gray valve handle. You'll pull the gray valve, and that's your gray water, your shower water, your sink water. That's going to kind of clean out the sewer tube that you're using, or the sewer hose that you're using to dump. When you're done, you're going to go ahead and close that and then put your sewer hose away. Lastly, you don't need to worry about it, but this bay right here is the generator bay. You don't need to access that for anything. We do all the stuff for that. Okay, well, we are excited to have you. We want to show you how to use the inside. Let's go on inside and take a look. All right, guys, we're going to go over how to use this RV. First of all, this is the brains of the RV right here. This is the control panel. Up here, you have your bed lift control. You have your main light switch. You have your gauges right here, these little buttons. These are for your freshwater tank, your gray water tank, your black, and your battery levels. These are just guides. They're not 100% accurate, so if you've dumped it or something like that and says it's full, it's probably dumped. These, like I said, they're just kind of guides. They're not accurate. Sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not, so just be aware of that. You have your awning extend and retract button, and then you have your awning lights. The top row right here is just lights, and then underneath here, the main couple that you're going to worry about is the water pump, and then you also have your water heater. There are two water heaters, an electric and a gas. We always just recommend you run on the gas water heater. That seems to be the best with the least problems and stuff like that, so just run on gas. Remember, it takes 5 to 10 minutes heat water and then about 5 to 10 minutes between showers. We're going to come into the main living area and talk about this. There is a nice little table that's built in here. You just fold it up. It's on a couple hinges. To close it, you close the hinges and swing it back down. And then we're going to talk about the sofa sleepers. So to use these, they latch. This is actually for the cargo setup. To do this, you're going to fold these legs out first to provide support. You're going to go ahead and unlatch it from the wall. And then this is just on a giant hinge and just comes right down, just like this. That becomes a sleeping area. Same thing on the other side. Now to configure this into a sitting area like a sofa, what we've learned is if you're one hand, you kind of push on the middle, and the other hand, you kind of pull up. You'll see how it goes right here. You just kind of push and pull, and then I usually use our legs and then kind of squeeze it together and fold it down just like that into the couch setup. Now, to close it or put it back up, there's a little trick as well. You're gonna reverse the same process, kind of pull and push, and then use this and kind of swing it and pull it just like that. Now, if you go to put it up on the wall and you grab right here, it kind of folds on you. So what we've learned is just come up to the front right here. This is a fixed area. You're just gonna lift up on that, put it back in its spot, go ahead and lock it up just like that, and then close these guys and you're good to go. So this has a huge cargo area for your toys, which is awesome. We're going to talk about the kitchen area now. So right up here is your fridge. To operate this, it's an electric fridge. You're going to open up the door just like this, and then there's a control panel right up here on the top of the fridge area. There's one section in there that says off-grid. So if you guys are boondocking or dry camping, you're going to want to make sure you switch that to the off-grid motion or section. That way it doesn't drain your batteries when you're camping. There's a 2-top burner stovetop. This is not a glass cooktop. To use this, you actually lift this glass up like this, flip it over, and then flip it back. Make sure that it's completely flipped back anytime you're using it. It is not a glass cooktop or anything like that. We've had people light the burners and then try to cook on the glass, which will just cause it to shatter and become a big mess. So just make sure anytime you're using it, it's flipped up out of the way and you're good to go. I'm gonna close it now. Anytime you're traveling, you want it closed. Obviously, you don't want it to fall down and shatter as well. So you do have a large microwave here and a sink area, which is great. We're gonna come back and go over how to run the air conditioner and the heater. So if you follow me right back through the hallway here, you have your thermostat control. The horizontal is gonna bar right here button is gonna cycle through all the modes. Like it'll be the heater, fan, air conditioner, and off. Those are the modes. The up and down areas are actual temperature controls. So you can cycle through and then set your temperature and you're good to go. Now we're gonna discuss the bathroom and how to use the toilet. First off, this is an RV toilet. To use it, it's got a foot flush pedal there. Before going to the bathroom, you actually push that pedal down about halfway and fill the bowl up with a little bit of water. You're gonna handle your business, and then when you're done, you're gonna push that valve all the way down and it'll add more water and flush it. So you're good to go. Now, over by the sink area, we have a GFCI outlet. If something's not working, you wanna double check the GFCI and make sure it's not tripped. Also, in the right below the refrigerator is a breaker panel, just like your house would have. If something's not working, that's where you would check as well. Also, lastly, the shower door has a little latch. It's a rubber seal. Anytime you're traveling, you want to make sure you have that shut and connected the 2 door handles to make sure that that doesn't flop on you while you're driving around. Now, now we're going to talk a little bit about the master bedroom. This is a fantastic bedroom setup. We love it because it's kind of private. You can always shut the door if somebody needs to take a nap or something like that. It's a great sleeping area, but my favorite feature in here is these built-in nightstands. They actually have USB chargers built into each nightstand on each side. You also have regular outlets here, but it's kind of nice so when you go to bed, you can hook in, charge your phone, do all that kind of stuff. This is a great trailer. You guys are going to love it. We're excited to see you, and we'll see you soon.